Hey everyone, it's Tox from critshappen.com. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Today we're here with a crit list that I think is going to be both very discussive and hopefully very entertaining. You may think I'm off my rocker, but I'm about to go through the top 3 games that I don't get to the table as much as I'd like to. Now what I'd like to hopefully spark with this conversation is, what games do you love that you just can't get to the table very much, and why? So I'm going to walk through the 3 that I have, tell you a little bit about them, and tell you why I don't quite, or I'm not quite able to get them to the table as much as I'd like to. So let's jump in with number 1. So the first game is from Asmodee. It is Regis Bonnes, I think is how you say his name, the designer. It's Lords of Exodus. Now, if you watched our review of Lords of Exodus, you know that I really like this game. It is a programming / exploration game. There's combat with monsters, you're competing against other players to get the most points, but it's in how that this game comes together that I really, really like it. Now, most people, unfortunately, in my play group, may look at programming and immediately think Robot Rally or Volt or something like that, which are great games. In fact, I love Volt. But some people have a stigma against programming, and that's one of the reasons I can't quite get it into the table. But it is a very colorful and very beautiful game. It's a game that has a lot of exploration going on. You're going to be moving around a board, but the challenge is going to become that you have to get these little tiny little characters that are beautifully sculpted, and someone may beat you to a location because you're going to program your board and then execute your board. So you and I may both be moving to the same location. However, you may get there before me and get a higher value miniature than I wanted before I get there. And that's one of the really fun things about Lords of Exodus. This kind of feels like Lords of Waterdeep with programming, and I really, really enjoyed that bit of Lords of Exodus. I would highly recommend to check this game out. It's just an unfortunate dichotomy that because it is a little more complex than Lords of Waterdeep, and because it is something that involves programming, I haven't been able to get it to the table as much as I'd like to. I still own it, I still keep it, and I still look forward to playing it whenever I can, but that's definitely one that doesn't hit the table as much as I'd like. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is one of my favorite games of the last few years, called Quantum, from Eric Zimmerman and Funforge. Now, Quantum, in my opinion, is just an absolutely beautifully awesome fun game. It is a game designed where you are basically flying around space and you use dice to act as your ships. And depending on the pips that they show, determine what type and class of ship they are and how they interact with the board and how they interact with other ships and other players. It has a very unique combat mechanic. However, some people have said that it's a little dry in the sense that all 4 of the races don't really have any difference in them. If I'm playing blue and you're playing green, the really only difference between our ships are yours are green and mine are blue, and that's it. I think that they had some plans, I don't know if this is still in the works, but I think they had some plans to make cards or an expansion that would differentiate the races. So some people look at it and go, well, it's not really as differentiated as I'd like. Some people also see this as a chess game because there is a lot of movement based on the type of piece you have. I personally really like that, although unfortunately it's become a game that hasn't hit our table as much as we'd like to. I still love it. I still enjoy the game very much. I think the artwork is gorgeous, and I think the mechanics and the concept of how the ships interact and how the combat works, where you're actually trying to get the lower die and not the higher die, is all really, really well put together. I've thoroughly enjoyed Quantum. However, it hasn't hit our table as much as I'd like. So that's going to make the list at number 2. Number 3 is gigantic. Number 3 is Hyperborea from Asterion Press in Italy. Now, this is I will probably slaughter this, Andrea Schiarvesio and Pierluca Zizi. I'm probably slaughtering that, I apologize. This is, in my opinion, a hidden gem in the world of board gaming. So Hyperborea is set in this amazing world that is going to be different every time you play. There's ghosts. There's ancient history to uncover. There's cities, or I guess factions, to build. Because what you're going to do is you're going to have a board, and based on cubes that you can pull out of your bag, you're going to be able to develop what your player does. And I really, really enjoy that mechanic. In fact, if you have seen Orleans from Tasty Minstrel Games, which is coming out, it was a very successful Kickstarter earlier in the year, or late last year. It was from Essen last year. If you like that style of bag building and pulling things out of a bag, you will love Hyperborea, because it has that exact same mechanic inside of it, using cubes to represent different abilities of your player or of your faction. This is one of the best games that came out last year that nobody talked about. I really, really love Hyperborea. But unfortunately, because of this box size and because of the physical size of the game, some people look at it like, whoa, that looks like Eclipse in the fantasy world, and it's way too much, and I don't want to jump into that. And that's really unfortunate, because Hyperborea is a great time. You can play 2 to 6 players. 2 players can play as fast as 45 minutes. 6 players can take about 2 hours. But even still, a 2-hour game of 6 players is not bad. I think the longest we went with 6 players was 3.5 hours, and that was a very competitive, highly strategic game. But I really, really enjoy Hyperborea. It's just unfortunate that due to the box size and due to the physical footprint of the game, that tends to be an issue with getting it to the game and introducing it to new players. So there you have it. Lords of Exodus, Quantum, and Hyperborea are 3 games that I love that I can't get to the table as much as I'd like to. What do you think about these games? Have you played them, and do you enjoy them? Do you get them to the table more than I do? I bet you do. However, I'd love to hear from you. What are your experiences with them? And more importantly, what are games that you love that you just don't get to the table as much as you'd like? Leave a comment below on the YouTube channel. Of course, you can chime in on Twitter and Facebook by searching Crits Happen, or you can find us at our homepage at critshappen.com. But until I see you next time, thanks so much for watching. Keep rolling those dice, and we hope they're all crits.